So, okay, so we just started recording. So yeah, I'd like to welcome you back, Raul, to Let's
Thank you,
Get
sir.
Serious. So there's kind of been a few things going on in the world of television and cinema when it comes
Hmm.
to specifically the Marvel and DC world. Kind
Oh
of
yeah,
had a
yeah.
few exciting things happen. So you got a chance to watch the Snyder cut?
I did. I did. My short is that it removed basically all of Josh Whedon's influence over
Mhm.
the movie
Yeah,
and put Snyder's heavily over the top,
yeah, yeah.
which
And
I expected. I expected pretty much out of this cut.
and how'd you like that?
I liked it. Josh Whedon is while very troubled young man. He's wrong in what he did. He is talented in what he does, which
Hmm.
is create believable universes out of almost fantastical scenarios.
Okay,
And I've seen him do it over and over and over again. So I really think that he has a talent for it. If he can clean himself up and get himself some help, maybe the world will forgive him enough to let him back in. But
hmm,
that's just that's the advice I would give him is make amends for your past.
hmm. So yeah, but I mean, we're talking about the Snyder cut though.
The Snyder Cut. Yes, now the Snyder Cut for me was basically a meditation, and I've said this before about several other things, but this is a meditation on the legacy your parents leave you.
Hmm.
And I know that sounds kind of awkward to say about the Justice League, but every single one had an issue to do with either their father or their mother or both,
Okay,
where it's about the legacy those parents provided, good or bad. Even Diana's story, even Wonder Woman's story, you see her father in the movie, which is Zeus himself,
okay,
the Greek god. And
right.
he's blasting lightning and stuff like that in the background. And
And
but
at what point do they show him?
it's the first war against Steppenwolf.
Okay,
Um, with the humans, the Atlanteans, and the Amazons coming together with the old gods and the
and
Green
it shows
Lantern.
them, and it shows them in the field. Okay.
Yes, yes, it
Oh, at the
shows them
very
in the field
towards the beginning.
fighting.
Towards the
Yes,
beginning. Okay,
and he's pretty prominent. He's a big dude. You can't miss him. He's a monstrous dude.
okay.
One of my mom's favorites, by the
And
way.
he's like in the sky, or is
No, no,
he?
no. He's on the ground and he's blasting people.
Oh,
Zeus.
okay,
He's
okay.
not really much of a character exposition of the
Hmm.
of the old gods, but
Right.
they did show them.
Okay. Cool. Was there any significant actor that played him, or just an
No,
unknown?
no, 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 no. I will say that there's a. I'm sure you've heard already that there's a Jared Leto scene that is to die for. It is on point
Towards the end?
towards the end of the movie. Yes.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I saw that. Yeah, that was interesting. That was interesting. You know what I thought was funny was the use of Jesse um, Eisenberg. Is that his name?
Yes. The Flash. Yes.
No, not the Flash. Um, the character who's related to Lex Luthor.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Okay, I got you now.
Did I say his name right? Is it not?
Lex Luthor? Yes.
No, Jesse. Is it
I
not
think
Jesse?
it's Jesse Eisenberg. Yeah, I
Okay,
think it is. I
okay,
was uh, I was reading another review and they mentioned his name, so I believe that's his name.
okay. Yeah, I thought it was interesting that because I don't remember what role he played in the original cut. Um, I just know that in Batman vs Superman, I didn't like him,
No.
but in this cut, I think they used him more tastefully. You know,
Yes. Yes.
so that was interesting. Do you
Eh,
remember how much he was in Justice League, the original cut, but was he in it at
I
all?
was trying to remember the entire thing. I don't think he was in it at all.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
I don't think he was in it at all.
Okay,
If I remember correctly.
okay, that's what I thought as well. So that was interesting that they brought him back because I definitely he was probably my most hated character from Batman vs Superman.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
so I find it interesting that in the hands of a better director, he had a more tasteful performance.
I yes, yeah, absolutely. Well, a director can do a lot. Actors are great tools, but they need somebody to wield them, and that's the director.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, and I mean, actors are not the ones putting these things together by any means.
Right.
You
The
know,
actors can only control their role and within the particular scenes they're in.
yeah,
But if the person setting the stage is not competent, I mean it's obvious to see right away. A bad
yeah,
director is not worth his weight in dead bodies.
yeah. Well, uh, we've definitely seen actors not do so well in the hands of bad directors. I'm particularly thinking of some of the Star Wars prequels
Oh
with
yeah, for sure.
um, what's his name? Is it Hayden? What's the
Christopher
guy?
Hayden, yes,
Is Christopher
it's
Hayden the one who plays young?
yeah. I don't think he's a bad actor. Poor guy was so maligned for his role, but I think it was actually George Lucas who doesn't know how to direct.
Well, yeah, that's my point exactly. Is it wasn't his fault at all, and I saw a movie soon after watching his performance in the prequel, and he was actually very good. Um,
Yeah, I think he could be. Unfortunately, he's taken a retirement from all things acting because of the fans' toxic reaction to him, which
oh,
is
that's too bad.
understandable. It's understandable though. People were so hateful towards him. If Jar Jar was a living person, it'd be the only person more hated than Christopher Hayden.
Well, that's his name is that's kind of like hilarious with his name. Um, Hayden on Hayden.
Hayden on Hayden. Yeah.
Yeah, that's too bad. But yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, that's the director. That's definitely the director's fault. Trying to remember the name of the movie that I was thinking of.
Hmm.
That was a good
I'm surprised
movie.
you
That
didn't have Ish on him with us. He would have been crazy for this.
well, yeah. I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise. I reached out to several folks. I mean, we are the last. We are the last of the Mohicans.
Okay,
Um,
gotcha.
so what I'll do is I will try for a part two, but I wouldn't hold your breath. If we get it, it's good. But
Okay,
my style of guerrilla theater is we work with what we can,
yeah, understood,
and
understood.
yeah, it's kind of like a gumbo or a stew um,
Gumbo's good. I like gumbo.
or like a chili. It's like whatever we have
Yeah,
in the house, we
sure,
work
sure.
with. Um, Maybe it was Shattered Glass was the name of it. It was kind
That
of
sounds familiar.
it was kind of an expose on like some kind of like I think it was like some kind of liar in the in the journalism industry who like
Oh,
kind of like told some lies, but he was kind of like also he had some skills as a journalist, but he told some big lies that kind of like screwed him up and caused like a stir. But he was good in it if I'm remembering correctly, if I'm remembering the right person. But it was certainly a Star Wars person that did not look good according to what they did in the prequels. So I feel like
gotcha.
that had to be him. I don't think it was
Yeah,
anyone else. I don't think
almost
it
for
was anyone
sure.
else. That
Because
was a
the others were good actors. That play like Ian McGregor,
Yeah,
Ian McKellen, and Samuel Jackson and stuff like. I mean, seasoned actors.
yeah, which was interesting because I thought Samuel Jackson was
Dry,
miscast as well.
dry, yeah, a bit dry.
Yeah, it was a weird, it was a weird role for me. Definitely thought it was miscast. But yeah, going back to the 4 hour Justice League, I thought it was cool. It was a totally different tone.
Yes.
It was kind of like dark and brooding, and I think they got what they were looking for. You know, the cyborg character was kind of like fleshed out
Oh
a
yeah,
bit,
and so was
and
the Flash, and so was the Flash.
yeah, and so was the Flash. Yep.
Like I said, I think it's about families, and it managed to go back to those family characters, like Diane Lane as Mrs. Kent, and stuff like that.
Right. We got to see the Martian Manhunter.
Oh,
That
I
was
love
cool.
that. I love that because you know the Martian Manhunter is the Vision equivalent of DC. He's
Okay.
basically same powers, same sort of attitude, same sort of alienness to the setting, and but in a different way. Of course, Martian Manhunter is not a robot or cybernetic creation, uh, but um, but but Martian Manhunter is very alien and has to
Now,
continuously shift himself into human forms.
yeah, I was gonna say I didn't see Vision do that.
No, no, no. Originally, they had the very similar powers in the 1970s and 60s.
Hmm.
Um, they had basically what do you call it when in substitution when you can move through objects,
Okay.
um, or desubstitution. I forget the name now. Anyway, so that's one of their big powers, and they both fly. They're both super strong. They both
Hmm.
have eye beams. So their tool set is very similar. Now their stories diverge constantly
Okay.
because Martian Manhunter develops like a gumshoe personality to take on crime, and on the local level, and that's also been interesting to see some writers take advantage of that.
Yeah, you know, it was interesting when he took on the form of
The
the
general,
no, was it the mother or was it the
yes,
girlfriend?
it was the mother.
Yeah, when he took on that form, I kind of I kind of was suspicious already,
Oh,
and I
sure,
don't
sure.
I don't know why. Maybe it's just good writing, or they hinted at something, but there was just something a little bit suspicious
Well,
about her.
the thing about Martian Manhunter is that he's good friends with Superman. Like he's
Hmm.
really good friends. There, imagine being the same being in the same situation, but one person is reviled as a villain, which is Martian Manhunter, and the other
Hmm.
person is hailed as the hero of America, which is
Right.
Superman. And
Yeah.
but they're very good close friends. So I wasn't surprised to see that, but I could see how the audience would be totally like left asunder.
Well, yeah, but not surprised based on the background you're giving me. I mean, in that situation, there was something that made me suspicious of what was happening. And
Oh,
I don't know where that suspicion came from. I just kind of felt something like it seemed like I don't know, there seemed something weird about the situation. Like, would this be happening that uh Clark's mother is giving some vital encouragement that she's participating in this way. You know what I mean? You know what I
right,
mean?
right,
It
right.
felt like a lot of participation from a character like that in a way I wasn't used to. So that made me suspicious. Like, is this who we think it is, or is this someone pretending to be
Oh,
someone?
gotcha, gotcha. So you were suspicious already.
I
Gotcha.
was suspicious already. Now, the fact that it turned out to be a good character is cool, but I actually thought it was
It
going to
was
be
for the
fun.
worst.
Yeah,
Yeah, for the worst.
yeah. I thought it was a trap being set.
Well, the thing is, the Doomsday is not. his subtlety level is below that of Thanos, and they're going to be compared a lot, Thanos and Doomsday. But
Mhm.
Doomsday is really like he doesn't even believe in fighting like in any subtlety at all. There's not that's not part of his mindset. He throws the assets he has at a problem, and if he has to step in, then the shit has hit the fan because he is amazing. He is super powerful, like Thanos is.
Yeah. Well, again, my mindset wouldn't have gone to even think about who it was,
Right,
right?
right.
Like my idea would have just been something is weird about the situation, you know.
I'm actually concerned that they didn't include a Green Lantern because a Green Lantern is so heavily placed in the Justice League. But they're right
Wait,
that it wasn't
they did in the beginning, didn't they?
in the beginning. In the beginning, the original gathering of heroes and gods and that sort of thing. There was a Green Lantern there, which is why I question why they didn't add a Green Lantern to the cast. Maybe they thought it was too much, but they did hint that others were coming at the end.
Yeah, well, we're already in a 4-hour movie. I
Yeah,
mean,
true,
what else
true,
are we gonna do?
true.
You know?
More kitchen sinks. Yeah, true.
Yeah, yeah, they already threw out a lot there. The end was definitely interesting with Eisenberg, with
Uh,
Luthor and Superman kind of in a standoff there.
yes,
That was pretty interesting, and the way that Luthor handled himself when being kind of threatened by Deathstroke.
yes,
Kind of that cool Lex Luthor way of saying, "I know you could kill me in an instant, but hold on, this is why we're talking. This is
yeah.
what I have to offer." So I thought that was an interesting use of Eisenberg's skill set. It's kind of like that old.
And Luther, to be honest, as a character, he knows he's out of his depth in terms of raw power. That's why he's always tried to even the playing field with technology, because he's dealing with people, Superman and the Justice League and the other villains and shit like that. There's just way beyond what he is. He's just a very smart guy, very smart, like a genius level, like unpaired genius, like but he turned it towards capitalism and technology, basically, without
Yeah,
restraint.
he's basically Batman, right?
He's
He's got
basically
the
Batman. Yeah, and I've always wanted to write a story. I'll tell you, Flav, I've always wanted to write an economic boardroom thriller about Wayne Industries taking on LexCorp. I
mm,
thought that would actually make a very interesting story with the setting of superheroes in the background
right,
instead of the
yeah,
foreground.
right. Yeah, that would also be interesting having both of them be taken on by activists who maybe have
Sure,
uh, a certain feeling or feel a certain way towards these behemoths of industry,
sure. Titans of industry. Yeah.
trying to convince them that they are not the same.
Well,
But
like Batman said in the movie, "What's your superpower? I'm rich." But he
right,
should have said, "I'm super rich," because he's basically Jeff Bezos rich.
yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Do you know? Do you know the comparison? Do you know, is he more or less or much more or much less?
Excuse me 1 second. I am so sorry.
No problem.
Give me one moment
Okay.
to deal with my folks.
Yeah, yeah. We'll pause.
Yeah, pause for 1 second. I'll be right.
Let's see, weather in the city. Good question. I haven't been out. The weather's been wacky, kind of up and down.
Oh no.
Um, I mean, we had some very cold temperatures the other day. Uh, Yesterday, basically rained like literally all day. So right now it says the actual temperature is 41, but the real feel is 20, 29.
I have about half an hour, Flav. I'm sorry to put a limit on it.
No, that's good. That's a good amount of time. Well, what are you guys looking at as far as weather?
Oh, we are like in 60s, 70s. It's actually quite nice right today, but we had rain yesterday, which was kind of ugly.
Yeah, that's odd that we on separate coasts both had rain.
Yeah, it's a big country, right? I'm sure some of the states in between were dying for rain, but they couldn't get it.
Yeah. All right. So, if we have half an hour left, let's let's skip over to Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Oh, okay,
For a bit.
great. So
So-
initially I thought that it was starting with they always like to start Marvel stuff in action, which I agree because it's an action series.
Mhm.
At heart, it has good stories, but it's an action series.
Mhm.
And although to be honest, I felt a little dizzy watching the Falcon do his 3-dimensional movements everywhere.
Okay.
It was a bit different than like the ground combat or the Krav Maga of like Captain America. Like point defense, that remove gun, flip it on the person, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Which we saw later, that style of combat with Winter Soldier.
Yeah. Well, I think that's interesting because I think we want to give him a distinction, right?
Absolutely.
And I think that's an interesting distinction that sets him apart as an exciting character.
In fact, the little one-upsmanship between him and Rhodey, War Machine, later on, which is of course Cheadle, Don Cheadle. When they're talking about, I'm going to teach your sister to fly, and I'm going to teach her the right way.
right.
Which is great. It's great little rubbing of personalities. It's great.
Yeah, for sure.
But overall, I'm enjoying the villains so far. It's kind of a nondescript villain. I believe it's Flag Smasher, like the actual Flag Smasher from the comic books, that they just lifted and decided to put as their main villain. And it makes sense too that this series was developed. This particular limited series was developed in a time during Trump when things did not seem very hopeful or optimistic at all. And you can tell that the tone is much different from like Winter Soldier or Captain America itself, First Avenger.
Can you remind me what villain you're talking about?
Flag Smasher is a villain that basically is he's super strong, super fast. He's basically a super soldier, but gone like lefty terrorist. Because
is he the one that gives him he gives Falcon some trouble when they're originally in the helicopter?
No, that's a different guy. Guy. I think that's Baltrock the Leaper. If I'm willing to guess right.
Okay.
But that's a totally different thing, because I saw him using Savate and Baltrock the Leaper's forte is that he's a Savate master.
Okay.
But no, it's the guy where his buddy from the defense agency is wore the little camera and was investigating the guy with a red hand in the world.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
I'll have to go back and watch it again.
Yeah, it's very his entrance is very short, but he's a vicious character and he should be respected. He's not going to be pushed over by the two superheroes, which is good.
I see. Cool. And so, what do you think about the difference between War Machine and Falcon? You were talking about the jokes.
Yes, the jokes and the thing.
Who was the better, flyer or or whatnot? Like, what do you think is the skill set difference between those two?
Well, one is Army and one is Air Force, which the rivalry is old as there
Yeah.
have been Army and Air Force. So
Okay.
so with Falcon, of course, being Air Force, and War Machine being Army. And they represent kind of the classical values, and I think we're going to see if Don Cheadle comes back, and I hope he does, because his entry is actually he's a heavyweight actor, and
Hmm.
he adds so much to every role.
Yeah.
So Hotel Rwanda is still one of my favorite, if not one of the saddest movies I've ever seen in my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. Well, have you ever seen what is it? Blue? Is it Blue Monday? What's the show that Don Cheadle has? Um, he's got a big show about like the '80s uh, Wall Street stuff. It's kind
Oh
of like a
no,
comedy.
I haven't seen that. No,
You've heard of it though?
I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's a great show. Great
Good,
show.
good. I would expect nothing less. He's an Oscar winner.
Yeah. Um, okay, so yeah, that was the first episode. I thought it was really good. Like I said, I'm gonna watch it again, but
Me too.
yeah, I'm expecting good things from this show.
Me too.
Um,
Me too.
anything
And
else to
the
note from the first episode?
well, the development of these two characters' backstory is actually very similar to the Snyder cut. I felt like it's so nice to get to know these characters as their own characters.
Hmm.
Winter Soldier's 106, and Falcon has a broken family at home from
Okay.
him being disappeared for 5 years from
Okay.
the events. So those two things together are kind of amazing. And these two guys kind of having to lean on each other because they're going to have no other choice
Right.
is going to be great. I think it's going to make for some great television.
Hmm. Yeah, it's also it's just going to be interesting to see, like you said, actors at this level in a
Yes,
television show,
yes.
because it's kind of like,
It's a
you
movie.
know,
It's a movie, a
yeah, yeah,
presentation.
yeah, exactly. So we've seen like movie level actors go to television, um, and now we're seeing, you know, people who I guess can go kind of back and forth now,
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
Because this is different. Disney produces a whole different type of product. It's
Hmm.
definitely much more polished, much more, even the stuff that's bad is still very good compared to what's being made by the rest of the industry.
Absolutely, that's absolutely true.
So like even like let's say like what was her name? Captain oh man, I'm forgetting her name now, and it's gonna the one that everybody complained about, poor girl,
Brie Larson.
Brie Larson, Captain. I forget her name. Um.
It's the
Anyway,
it's the same character that's like there's a different iteration of the character on WandaVision, except that
oh
woman's
yes,
black.
yes. Because in the 70s that woman was black.
Yeah.
The power transferred to the Kree power transferred to, and that version is probably the most powerful. Her name was Pulsar at certain points, and she
Hmm.
is super powerful. She's just like Brie Larson is in her iteration, super powerful.
Right. Yeah.
But she's more energy, and like she's not gonna mix it up hand to hand. You're gonna see a lot more like energy manipulation out of her in terms of the future when they put her, because I think what they're setting up in WandaVision was the West Coast Avengers as a
Okay.
setup
Okay.
for their home viewing audiences, and I think that's going to be very popular because that's going to be people like Moon Knight, Wonder Man, which is kind of like Superman if Superman went to Hollywood, which is
Okay.
hilarious. Oh, he was a hilarious character.
Okay.
Uh, You have Hercules, which is basically like Thor, but imagine Thor abdicated his heroship and went drunk for 2,000 years.
Okay.
That's Hercules
Okay.
in the Marvel comics. But he's super strong, super powerful. Nothing wrong with his abilities. He's just a drunk.
Okay.
And I think dealing with that sort of character being so out of control, it's like the Hulk almost level danger.
That reminds me of the character that I really liked a lot. Uh, the Will Smith character.
Oh,
Um,
oh, I can't remember his name. I'll Google it.
but yeah, drunken superhero.
Oh, Hancock.
Yeah, yeah. Reminds
Hancock
me.
was amazing. Hancock was way before its time.
Yeah, yep.
And he was very brave to do it because it broke a lot of expectations about Will Smith, where Will
For
Smith
real.
likes to be the real good guy,
The
the
real
real
nice guy. Yeah,
shining hero,
yeah,
and Hancock was a jerk all the way
yeah.
through.
Which I loved him. I loved him for.
Me too.
You know.
Me too. Break those
Um.
expectations, man.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Speaking of expectations and different levels, and the way that Disney's able to handle some of these productions. What do you think about Lois and Superman?
I haven't been able to see it yet. I know it's terrible, but I think there's 3 episodes I have to catch up with. I'm going to
Okay.
catch up with it this weekend, this Saturday. Uh,
Okay.
but I haven't been able to see it. Apparently, my other show is wild about it. They love it. They absolutely adore it.
I think it's great. My attitude is I'm not going to keep up expectations because
Bless you,
my
brother.
relationship, thank you, my relationship with the CW is they can eventually screw it up.
Yes, they can. Even the Flash they
Um,
screwed up, which was their pride and
well,
joy.
that's 1,000% my point. The Flash is, I'm not going to call it unwatchable, but if you see me watching The Flash, there's nothing else on.
Yeah, absolutely desperation. And the
There's
Flash
nothing else on.
was some of the best TV for a while. They really got it right.
The Flash took everything Arrow did wrong and they improved on it, and they
Yes.
were great for a long time. And then they went into some of these stupid storylines, like the I don't know if her name is Nara or whatever their daughter's name is. I hated that character.
I hated that character too. Boring.
She was really whiny and annoying, and everything written around that character was too touchy feely. I love my wife. I don't want to lose you. Like, fuck all that stuff. Like, that's not what we're watching this stuff for. We're just not. I can go to Lifetime if I want those kind of storylines. But yeah, so it's good so far. I just watched the last episode, which I think was the 4th episode, so it's still good, but it took a while for Flash to get shitty as well. So I'm gonna enjoy it for as long as I can, but I don't have any reason to suspect they're not gonna screw it up after a while.
No, that's the CW. The CW was home to Supernatural for a long time, and they were good for the first 5 seasons, I would say. But the rest of it was like, come on, guys, don't phone it home. People really love this stuff, and you guys are phoning it home for
And do you
paychecks.
remember? And what are we in season 7 of the Flash right now?
Yeah, I think 8. I think 8, maybe.
Okay, so yeah, I thought it was 7, but either way, that sounds about right. That they're good for a handful of seasons, and then it kind of just
because you know what happens, Flav, in Hollywood is that the showrunners and their staff, their primary staff, move on to other projects.
They leave.
Yeah.
Yep. It's
And
the same thing that
sometimes
happened to.
Go ahead, brother.
No, I was just gonna say same thing that happened to all the great shows like The Simpsons and
Yes,
all of that.
absolutely.
Right, Conan O'Brien leaves, and a bunch of good people leave. Writers move on, and like you said, sometimes they get replaced with good people, but sometimes they
Not often. Not often.
not often. Yeah,
Yeah.
not often. It's like your best people leaving, right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And you can't. I've always said this about video games too. Video games that have a long life cycle, like Halo or WoW, World of Warcraft.
Hmm.
When your original staff leaves, you probably should close the project because
Right,
you're never going to get that magic back. You're never going to get that
right,
magic. You're just delaying the inevitable.
right. That makes sense because even if you get talented people, it doesn't mean that they're going to have that chemistry,
That's true.
right?
And things are built in teams. It's what the older people called the wisdom of crowds. Uh,
Yeah, that's what they did for the movie Juice. When they
yes,
auditioned Juice, they didn't audition it just like, in a regular sort of way. Like, I mean, when they found Tupac, they knew
right,
that
right.
guy was staying. They knew that by hook or by crook, that guy was it, and he wasn't even originally um, auditioning. I think he went in with like Tretch from Naughty by Nature.
I love
I think
Tretch. Tretch is such a badass.
yeah, he is. Tretch is a badass for real, like a real street guy.
Yeah,
I think
real good
Tupac
guy
was
too. Decent,
yeah, yeah, very loyal. I
very
think
loyal to his people.
Tupac was so good that they gave him the role, which I think he stole Tretch's role,
I think he
and
did.
Tupac was so good that Tretch thought something was wrong because he heard him saying his lines from the other room, and he was saying them so passionately that he thought that there was some kind of beef brewing, and he was like ready to like storm into the room and have Tupac's back. And then when he
Right.
saw that Tupac was in the middle of giving his audition slash performance, he knew that he knew that Tupac was getting the role. He knew
Yeah,
that.
Tupac was unfortunately a guy with so many talents and so little time to develop them all. Well, it
Yeah.
seemed like when he came into his own as an artist and as a
Hmm.
man, he
Hmm.
just didn't have the time. He just didn't have the time to really develop into a mature statesman of art, like
He
many of
was
the other hip hoppers.
he was trying to. He was
Yeah,
definitely trying to. He was writing
yeah.
scripts and he was directing
I definitely see him
videos.
making it to like a place like Jay Z is right now. Respect his state.
Yeah, I mean, I think even beyond that because he had political aspirations.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So like we've seen a couple of the guys from uh the Ghetto Boys enter into politics. I think as like maybe city council people in their respective wards. Willie
I think
D.
Wu Tang as well. Wu Tang. Some of the members of Wu Tang have been either consulting or getting involved in politics themselves, and now in
I
their
haven't
older age.
I haven't heard about that. More specifically with the Ghetto Boys. I mean, they're actually they're actually on city
Right,
council.
right, right, right.
Wu Tang certainly hasn't done anything like that. However, it's good if they're getting involved. I mean, I'd be interested to know who you're talking about,
Let me see. Let me see.
because the RZA is he's a good guy, but he's at odds with some of the things he says, which are not in line with with like the more typical black or radical politics of the day,
Right, right.
specifically things that others in his group would feel. Um, yeah, I don't know who you'd be referring to, um, but yeah, what were we talking about?
We were talking about oh, here we go. Here was RZA was You God, Ghostface Killer, Master Killer, Capadonna discussed their documentary Wu Tang Clan of Mics and Men, and how the band has changed over the years, and how they got political at Sundance.
I'd have to see that context. I mean, that'd be interesting, but not. But so yeah, I was talking about Pac's level.
Right.
Pac's level. So like as far as Jay-Z, I think that's a good comparison.
Yes.
Um, I think artistically, I think he'd be probably doing more with more artists. Um, but he was looking to get into politics. He was encouraging people to vote a certain way on like some affirmative action measures in California,
Right.
telling his millions of fans to vote a specific way on certain bills, and he was going to get heavier into acting as well. I think he was
Right.
transitioning away from rap. He was getting major props from some of the biggest actors in the industry who were very in awe of his acting chops, and he was getting into directing. Uh,
Almost naturally, right? Without with very little training.
I wouldn't say that. Most people don't realize Tupac was a trained actor from when he was young.
Oh, gotcha. Didn't know that. Didn't know that.
Yeah, Tupac, with his troubled life, he moved around a lot. And so he was in several different schools, and they were always like, like art schools and acting schools. And he was always at the top of his class in each one.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I think he did like A Raisin in the Sun or something like that when he was young,
Gotcha.
like really young, like maybe
Makes
8
sense. Makes sense.
or
Raising the
something like
Sun
that.
was very propagated in the during that time.
Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of people don't know that he was acting before he was rapping.
Did
at
not
a, at
know
a
that.
yeah, at a young age, and he did everything from dance to acting to to all that stuff.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, the people that he did movies with were quite impressed with him.
I wonder what he would have made out of Hamilton, the play.
That's a good question. Yeah, that's a good question.
Would he have supported it, or would he have kind of downed it as a half measure, rewriting history? I don't know. You know.
I mean, I think it depends on what we're talking about, like because I think historically, I don't know if they changed anything. I think it's just the language,
Yeah, it's just the
and
language.
they
It's
made
just the
it.
language. But the
They made
history
it.
is exactly the same.
Yeah, I think making it accessible to people, he could have been down with that, for sure. I mean, he was trained in Shakespeare, and he was very good. Uh, he was very good. So one of the criticisms that some of his teachers had was that the films that he didn't show his range,
I can
right? So
believe
he
that. I can
so he
believe that.
did he did Juice, which obviously was the
I remember.
quintessential movie, thug. I think people over exaggerated the fact that they thought Tupac was trying to become trying to become this character, which he said, hell no, like this character turned on all of his friends and was a murderer. It was only a
Right.
role, but people got too excited and said that that's who he was trying to be.
Much like Al Pacino in Scarface. People avoided Pacino for years.
Mm. But yeah, I guess they felt like between that and some of the other movies he did, like Above the Rim and Gang
Remember that?
Related
Yeah.
and stuff like that, they felt like he did one too many thug roles, that they wanted to see more. They wanted to see more from him, which we would have gotten had he lived, for
Yeah,
sure.
of course, because the parts come. The parts come, especially now in this age, where
Yeah,
no part is limited to any actor of any skin color. So,
yeah. And he also had auditioned for Star Wars for the
oh, I would have
prequel.
loved that. I would have loved that.
Yeah. Now
Maybe he would have made a better Mace Windu. Who knows?
I'm trying to remember if that's. I mean, that's the obvious character, right?
Right,
That he
right.
would have been going for. but yeah, I mean, I can only imagine him being much better than Samuel Jackson in that role.
Are we gonna have a little show later on, by the way? In a few hours, for with the rest
Uh,
of the people.
I mean, I'll see. I don't know what's going on later. I can see what people are up to. Um, Sam's been kind of busy lately. His
Oh,
mom was like moving and stuff into his building.
okay,
Um,
gotcha.
but I can see. Yeah, I guess just ask what's up in the group chat.
Yeah,
See what
I
folks are
will
up
as
to.
soon as because I do have to go in a few minutes to get ready
Okay.
for mom to come back with groceries, and then I put them all in the. I don't let her take it out of the car. I do it all myself.
Okay. Cool.
But
Yeah.
thank you
This
for
is.
having me on, Flav.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. This brown afro in the back reminds me of like a '90s hip hop West Coast
Yeah, I
kind of
definitely
like
hip hop.
album cover.
Almost exactly like a hieroglyphics cover.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yep,
Yep.
and then the khaki shirt
Yeah,
to match the
exactly.
West Coast.
You're kicking the West Coast style today, sir.
Yeah, for real. I could be down with Cypress Hill as well.
That's right. That's right. Although Cypress Hill started on the East Coast, they were from Spanish Harlem.
I don't think so.
No, I thought they
No,
were.
no. People are confused because there is a Cypress Hill in New York.
Yeah, that's why I thought they
People,
named it.
yeah, people. I don't know where the name came from, but no, they're West Coast. They're like gang. They're like West Coast, kind of like gang related.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, gang related West Coast guys. But people used to wonder that because their sound was so interesting that it was hard to
hard to nail down.
recognize.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
you know they're Cuban like me, right?
Are they?
They are both of them.
Oh, oh,
The
okay,
main two
okay,
guys are Cuban.
okay.
So that's why I thought they were. It was possible that they were New Yorkers as well, because Cubans didn't move out to the West Coast that much.
Oh, okay.
There's a few Cubans, but they're not a lot. Not a lot
Right, right.
comparatively. But anyway, Flav, you take it easy, man. I'll catch
Okay.
up with you later.
All right. Catch up with you. Have a good one.
Take care, bro.
All right. Peace.